Hey, I'm Janine Bolon. Welcome to Authorpreneurs HQ, which happens to be promoting and producing the Authorpreneurial Summit today. And we just want to say thank you so much for getting the recordings. Thank you so much for being present. And I cannot wait to introduce my team. As many of you may or may not know, I'm Janine Bolon. I'm the founder of White Glove Broadcasting. And White Glove Broadcasting is an amalgamation of 15 different businesses. And we have several of those business owners today that make me look good. And everybody thinks I have my act together. What they don't know is I have a team of people that have my back, and they're the ones that have their act together. I'm going to start off with the one most important person, and that happens to be Tasha Wilmore, who is the owner. Go ahead and unmute, darling. They want to hear those dulcet tones. Good morning, my dear.
Good morning. Good morning.
And she is the one that handles everything. She's the project manager. She coordinates the emails. And Tasha is also the one that's coordinating this. So I won't have her talk long, but go ahead and talk to us just a little bit, dear, about Help on Deck.
Yeah, thanks, Janine. Well, as Janine mentioned, I am the owner of Help on Deck, and we provide administrative support to small business owners and solopreneurs, anything under the administrative umbrella, from small business development, social media, email management, logistical needs, a cluster of things. So we can help pretty much in any avenue of admin service that you may need, excluding bookkeeping. That's the only one that we don't touch. So if you are, ever in a need for a little quick help, real quick or long term, feel free to keep us in mind.
Thank you very much, Tasha. And I like saying that, having her, because one of the things that was very important to me was that I not have a virtual assistant who was just solo, that she had her own team of people to help coordinate some of the things I'm doing. Now, the rest of the White Glove Broadcasting team I want to introduce you to is, next one's the person that has known me the longest, and that is Brian Hyde. Brian, would you unmute, please? If you don't mind saying good morning to the crowd.
Good morning. It's nice to see all of your faces.
Now, for those of you who have listened to anything of mine that's audio and there was a male voice, that's the guy. Brian Hyde has been the male voice on all of my audio since, dare I say, 2002. So he and I have been together a long time. He likes to tease me that he's the old man when it comes to radio, because he's been on radio 6 months longer than I have. So I just wanted to introduce you. Brian, talk to us a little bit about One Voice, if you don't mind, real quick, 15 seconds or less.
I work in audio, the spoken word, as well as the written word. And it's been really fun to get to know many of you through our common association with Janine.
So thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate you. He will be running breakout room number 2, and we'll talk a little bit about the breakout rooms in just a minute. And then next on this lovely list, you know her from Open Friday Coffee. And you may not know how important she is to not only being the chat mod, but also being the woman in the know when it comes to doing all the screenshots. And you know her from LinkedIn. If you found me through LinkedIn, this is the woman. So Lynette, if you don't mind unmuting just for a moment, all you have to do is say hello if you like.
Hi, guys. So happy to be here.
And she's one of these lovely ladies who enjoys serving others. And I can't tell you how much she has helped me with what I do in Open Friday Coffee and beyond with LinkedIn. So if you've ever been on a message with me and you wondered who was talking, because she goes, oh, hi, I'm Lynette. This is the woman that runs my social media. Okay, next is we have the wonderful Jeff Brashawa, our dear man up north. How you doing? What's happening? Talk to us a little bit about what you do.
Thank you for having me, Janine. I take the book list to fully booked. So I help people tell their story in book form.
And that is one of the big bonuses that we have going on for a lot of people is we're working on a summit guide. And so if you're a speaker and you want to write an article for us, we would love to put you in the summit guide and give you 10 copies of that book. And we'll talk more about that later. And last but not least happens to be our chat captains. In each breakout room, you will have a chat captain. And Lynette is going to be working in room number 3. And Sean Bolon, if you don't mind talking a little bit and saying hi and what you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Bolon. I am the acting graphical designer for White Glove Broadcasting, as well as the Authorpreneurs HQ. Eldest son of Janine Bolon here, the runner of this entire shindig. And good to meet you all. I'll be chat captain for room number 2 under Brian Hyde. So look forward to talking to you more.
The chat captains are the ones that help run the moderation for you. And if you want to make sure you get those bonuses, each one of these speakers has done something amazing. And I wanted to share what they have done. Because I am absolutely dedicated to authorpreneurship as well as literacy in this country, I have a wonderful nonprofit organization that I have become familiar with at its almost very start. And what these speakers have done, every single person that you hear speak has donated $47 to Imagination Storybook. So if you would definitely unmic yourself for me, Richard, I would love for people to hear from you. This is the wonderful book wizard. Hello, Richard. Good morning.
Good morning, Janine. It's wonderful to be here. I am the storybook wizard. I created a nonprofit, Imagination Storybooks, to make children's illustrated books accessible to all children, blind children, deaf children, children with learning challenges. And that's basically what I'm here to talk about today.
And thank you very much for being here. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is this nonprofit started, how many years ago was it, Richard, that we were at the boot camp?
3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago that he was at the boot camp with me in Denver. And that's when I learned about this. And it's for all kinds of children. If you are an author of children's books, if you would please consider allowing your book to be used by the Imagination Storybooks, that would be absolutely delightful. But all the speakers have gotten together and they put together, and I have a check for Imagination Storybooks for $565. And so I wanted to say thank you, Richard, for all the quality work that you have done. And it is wonderful to be able to support your organization. And so here you go.
Oh, thank you so much.
I appreciate
that.
Wonderful. Excellent. So thank you to all my speakers. I gave you a speaker audition, mainly because I wanted to promote you not only during the summit, but after the summit. And I wanted to be able to donate to one of the amazing organizations that I know about. So thank you very much for your time. And for those of you who are authors, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us. And Tasha, is there any housekeeping we need to do before we move on with what we have going on with folks today?
Yes, absolutely. Today we will, and Janine will tap on this a little bit later, but today we will be having breakout rooms, and all of you will have the option to join any breakout room that you like. So once we get to that point, you will see the breakout room box pop up, and you just select the room that you want to join. The rooms are named so you know where you're going. For the speakers who are presenting today, you will automatically drop into the breakout room that you're assigned to once the breakout rooms are open, so you do not need to do anything. During the session, we do ask that you remain on mute. Just so everyone can hear everything that's being presented. Feel free to use the emojis in Zoom, drop information in chat. There may be times where Janine will ask folks to come off mute. Please feel free to do that at that time as well. But overall, we want to make sure that this is a great experience for everyone, and so everyone can hear everything that's going on. If you have any questions while you are in the breakout room, please feel free to hit the help button and it will notify me and I'll come to the rescue. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Tasha. And one last bit to you, Richard, if you would be kind enough to increase your volume just a little bit on your computer and unmute. We're going to come back to you because I asked Richard if he would be kind enough to allow us to have Winnie the Pooh come in and start off the summit. And he goes, okay, I'll do my best.
Yes, I hope I'm loud enough now. Yes, one of the almost 200 books that we have adapted to make accessible is the original Winnie the Pooh, which we invited voice actors from around the country to volunteer their voices to become part of this experience. And I just want to show you a very brief example of what we mean by making a children's illustrated book accessible. Let's see if I can share the sound. Share.
Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie the Pooh lived in a forest all by himself under the name of Sanders.
What does under the name mean?
It means he had the name over the door in gold letters and lived under it.
Beneath an overhanging tree trunk, Winnie the Pooh sits on a log outside a door carved into the tree. Pooh gazes up at the smoke that curls skyward from his campfire. Behind him, a sign over the doorway reads, Mr. Sanders. A bell with a bell pull hangs above a sign reading, Ring also.
One day, when he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest. And in the middle of this place was a large oak tree. And from the top of the tree, there came a loud, buzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. First of all, he said to himself, that buzzing noise means something. You don't get a buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing without its meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise, and the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know of is because you're a bee.
A swarm of bees fly in a curvy path over Pooh.
So that's an example of audio description of the pictures. We have professional writers write the audio descriptions of all the pictures. We have the sign language. Of course, we also add captions. And this way, we make the audio versions of illustrated books accessible to everyone. Now all kids can enjoy a picture book, listening to it in the car because all the pictures are described. So that is what we've been up to at imaginationstorybooks.org. I was an audio book narrator and also in radio for many, many years prior to that, and a volunteer guide for blind skiers. And I discovered in the blind community that there's such a shortage of children's illustrated books. Even those that are put into Braille only reach 10% of blind children now. 90% of blind children are not learning Braille. They're being mainstreamed into schools and don't have Braille teachers. So they are totally dependent upon audio and video presentations of their children's illustrated books. So thank you so much, Janine, for giving me this opportunity to share what I do. I'm happy to talk to any authors about how to make their books accessible. And we're at imaginationstorybooks.org. I see that Sean has put the link to the website in the chat.
Mm-hmm. And so thank you, everyone, for your patience for this. But I don't know about you. Some of my most beloved memories of books has been when somebody was reading them to me. And I was lucky. I have my sight. I have my hearing. I was able to see the pictures and flip the pages on my own. And what is lovely is I was talking to some of the actors that are a part of Richard's group. And one said, it wasn't until I started reading this book that I realized that Christopher Robin had checkered pajamas as he was pulling Pooh down the stairs. So for decades, this man had missed what I consider to be 90% of the book because of the illustrations and the amount of information there. So those are the sorts of things. And so thank you for your patience with this, because this is my passion is bringing literature, whatever its form, to as many people as possible. Richard, I know you have so many things you have to do. Thank you for being with us today. It's a delight to have you. The audio
Thank you so much, Janine.
Appreciate having you.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you,
Take care.
everyone. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for bringing Winnie the Pooh. I said, if that doesn't break your licensing agreement, we would love to have Winnie the Pooh. They also managed to get the license. Richard is very humble. They also got the licensing for The Wizard of Oz. And so I don't know about you, The Wizard of Oz terrified me as a kid and continues to be one of my favorite books. So I was very excited that that happened. Okay. So it is now 10:15, and according to our run of show, that means that we were supposed to have Richard start talking at that time. So we have 15 minutes before we launch because, Janine talks fast, likes to move things along, likes to keep people excited. I want to know if anybody has any questions before we get started with this show. Thanks, Rich. I love it that you laugh at me all the time. Thank you. Love it.
I was actually laughing at the email that Jeff just sent me.
And that is something that we let you guys do. You can chat among yourselves because nothing is worse than to have to sit there and potentially be bored during a summit. So if you guys are ready, I'm just going to go ahead and launch and we'll get ready into breakout rooms and that sort of thing, because if we're moving along faster ahead of time, that means we're going to give a speaker more time. So okie dokie. If you would go ahead and let's chat for a moment about why we are all here today. It all started because I got pissed off. Don't piss Janine off. She'll run a freaking summit over it. What ended up happening was I was allowed to go onto a mastermind group that cost $40,000 a year to be a part of. I was a guest. I did not pay that money. Being a guest, you're very polite. You realize that you're dealing with people at a very high level. And I just wanted to let you know that these folks were talking to me, and the guy spent 45 minutes talking to us about the system to where you could make millions of dollars on an event, an online event. And after I got him off into the breakout room, what he chose to tell me was, I said, so how much did you make in that weekend? He goes, 4 million. I went, congratulations, that's amazing. I said, what was your burn rate? The burn rate is how much it costs you to make that $4 million, for those of you who are not business crazy like I am. And so the burn rate is what it costs you to do something. It cost him $5 million to put on that show. I'm like, hello, it doesn't take rocket science for you to realize that there's a huge discrepancy here. The second breakout room I went into, the guy told me that he made a $315,000 weekend. And I said, what was your burn rate? He goes, oh, it was only 275,000. Well, at least he made money, right? And he goes, but that's no big deal. I just put a second mortgage on the house. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So realize some of these gurus, these are very high level people. I'm not going to mention names. These are very high level people that I've seen doing the Facebook ads, Google ads, in my inbox telling me to buy their stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, the third one was the one that broke Janine. That broke Janine. I went into the breakout room. It's a one-to-one meeting. And I was talking to him and he's like, okay, I'm about ready to give my presentation. Stick around. You want to hear this. It's how to convert people to your high ticket items of $15,000 to $20,000 programs. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'd love to learn how to do that. So they go on and they talk about a lot of psychology and what you do to get people to do what you want them to do, not necessarily what's in their best interest. And they said, make sure that you keep them on the call for as long as possible. And then if they still are giving you objections, figure out how you can get their money from an IRA. And make sure that they find ways to pull their money from their IRA. Now you're about ready to learn from the slide deck I'm about ready to go on to. I have been teaching people how to save money, to live the conservative lifestyle, to live debt-free for over 30 years. And that just blew my mind that this was happening. I dropped off the call. I sat there with my head in my hands going, how am I going to save? I feel like authors are my people. And I say in my head, it's like, how am I going to help my authors? Meaning, if you're an author, you're my people. And I was just like, how am I going to help my authors from these very not cool business models? And so I decided to run the Authorpreneurs Summit, and that's where Authorpreneurs HQ was born. And that was 18 months ago. And I started by getting to know other authors. And what I did was I started interviewing them for the 99 Author Project. Cheryl, would you be kind enough to unmute yourself so we can chat just for a moment about the 99 Author Project?
Good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. Cheryl is a publisher that I am working with. And she goes, when I gave her my story and I told her what I wanted to do, she goes, Janine, for you, I will help you do this at very little expense. She is not making a profit on the book until we start selling it. She goes, but she was so she was like me, so not enraged. I was enraged. She was calm. But I was like so pissed off. And she goes, you start interviewing the people. I'll publish the book. And so I just wanted to introduce Cheryl. She's also going to be one of our speakers too. And so if you have something that you want to publish and you're a little struggling about it, Cheryl is somebody who will walk you through that process. So anything else you wanted to say about the 99 Author Project, hon?
I'm just excited to be a part of it. And when you did come to me, having seen how authors struggle once they get their books published, this is a wonderful platform. And I'm just really happy to be a part of it. So thanks, Janine.
Oh, you're welcome. And to my 99 authors, of which we have Michael Whitehouse and Nikki Green and Raina Kessler, with several of the speakers that you guys are a part of, Dr. Doreen, Lisa, we're also a part of the 99 Author Project. And I said, hang with me, guys. The book won't be out yet, but we'll run the summit. And so they're here to help you with it. So thank you, my peeps, for being with us and supporting us today. I do appreciate you. So I do have a really quick PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to run you through. I am very aware of death by PowerPoint, but I didn't know how to share all this information with you. The whole point of this conference, the whole point of this summit is to get you as authors to making money, get you out of debt. If you find yourself in debt, because it happens to us all, there are 5 reasons somebody can be in debt that is not their fault. I will not list them off. You can all take my course that's for free on financialfirstresponder.com. But there are 5 reasons why somebody can go into debt that's not their fault. So if you find yourself in debt, take my course, 60-40 principle. I don't even charge. I don't even go after you on that. I just want you debt free. Okay, so that's that. But there's 5 reasons that happen. So we are going to walk you through processes and systems on how to make money. And so each author that we are going to have today, the first one is Gary White in room 1. He's going to be talking to you about how to create book funnels. Now, if you're an author, room 1 is for published authors. You've published, you've got the Amazon bestseller list out there, you're doing fabulous, and the honeymoon's over, you need to start making income. That's room 1. Room 2 is for new authors. You're like just almost published, or your draft is like just there, or you're just to that point of having a book and calling yourself an author, or you're an author of only 1 book. You definitely want to be in room number 1 because of the people that will be speaking there. Room 3, that is for anybody who needs support in their authorpreneurial journey. And so let's talk about some of the people that are speaking. The first one is Gary White. He helps you with book funnels. The second one in that room will be me again. I'll be talking to you about how you go about making money through media kits. The second one is Nikki Ganjeme. She will be describing to you how you get in your own way. You thought you dealt with all your demons writing your book? Try marketing your book. That's when the demons really like to take a hold of you. You want to talk to Nikki. She's going to help you out on that one. All right. Then after Nikki, you have Michael Whitehouse. The other thing about an author, it's solitary confinement, right? I mean, we write our book. It's in our own head. We have to put it on the keyboard. Well, Michael Whitehouse is going to talk to you about how to network and how to say your message in a clear, concise, and laser-focused way so that you're not talking for 35 to 45 seconds, which is agony to anybody who has had to listen to 20 of those introductions. So he's going to help you really hone that together. And then last on room 1 is Gary Barnes. And Gary Barnes will be discussing to you how to make $100,000 using his $100,000 blueprint. And that is something that I did. And it took me 2 years to follow his advice. And by my second year, I made $165,000 using his system. So I will be black and white with you when it comes to the money. I will let you know how much money I have lost. I will let you know how much money I have gained, depending upon what I've been doing. And one of the things I can share with you is over the last 8 years, I have spent over $65,000 on my PhD that says I am an entrepreneur and I know how to make money now. It only took me 8 years to figure it out. So hopefully we can cut your learning curve on that, okay? We'll talk about the other rooms in a bit, but first I want to say, are there any questions before we launch into the rest of our program today? None in the chat? No hands raised? Nobody has interest. Thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and move right on along then. Here we go. So let's talk about how you go about making money when it comes to your book. And here we are. Okay. So thank you for being here. This is one of those things that I do not take it lightly that you have chosen to spend your time with me today. And because you have taken your time to spend with me today, I'm going to make sure that you make money when you leave this summit. And that's what all the speakers have done as well. We have a 4-pronged approach to this summit for you. The first one is saving your time. Second one, saving your money. Third one, making sure that we save your sanity because you can get overwhelmed by a lot of this, and how to save your knowledge. The fifth one, how to make money. That is the goal today. Okay, so thank you for being here. In 1982, if you had been traveling through Ripley County, Missouri, you would have heard this over the airwaves as you were listening to your AM radio. This is KDFM, KOEA-FM, serving the current River Valley with information and entertainment. I was 18 years old. I was looking at a radio station, and that was the start of my media career. I have been in media since that time as a side hack. It was always a hobby. It was something I did to make a little extra money. Since 1982 through 1997, I was a geek. For 15 years, I did pharmaceuticals. I was in automation and robotics. I was running RS-232 cables and got excited when we had 1 megabyte of information that we could store from the robots onto things. I'm a dinosaur in the industry. I understand that, but that's where I was. This is what left corporate America for. I have 4 wonderful children. And it's these 4 children that made me become the type of businesswoman I am. I went online because I wanted to stay at home with them. If you ever happen to come across something called the Flaming Shadow Bunnies, that's my team, yo. We were the geocachers. We were the hardcore training. We were running and traveling together as a group. This is my reason for being who I am today. So just wanted to let you know this is where I'm coming from. In 1996, if you said that you were self-employed, what did that mean for all of you? Let's say it together. It meant you were unemployable or unemployed. It was taboo to call yourself self-employed. Now it's all the rage. Don't you guys love it that you've lived long enough that we are now the cool kids? We've never been the cool kids. Well, guess what? Being an author now, you're the cool kids. Isn't that great? So in 2015, that's when this thing came out called Zoom, and they were looking for beta testers. And I said, sign me up, teach me how to do online courses. And I started the Business Builder Workshop. In 2018, Who is Your Boss became an article. It was published in a lot of different places. I won't bore you with what and where and when, but just know that it is available to you in your bonus section. You can download it, and it has a little answer and quiz in there to help you get better at making a profit. I started building out courses. I now to date have over 93 and 637 different students. And what I'd like to share with you is today's summit is all about building your foundation, how to build a profitable business based on your book. We have so many speakers that are going to talk about the various elements and the different aspects. But what I will talk to you about when we have that session is going to be how to make money very basically, using basic tools, basic systems, software you already have access to. When it comes to creating your habits of success, I really want you to listen not only to Gary White, who was going to be talking about the book Funnel Formula, but also Nikki Green, who's going to be talking to you about your chameleon mindset. Creating the habits of success are necessary. We have 2 Nikkis. Their last names start with G. Both of them are going to help you. Again, Jimmy is the other one. Both of you are going to help you create habits of success. If you find that you cannot create that habit of success, you definitely want to chat with them about how to make it better. Next, we're going to talk about how to prospect new clients. That's in week 3 of the business building bootcamp that I used to run. And we're going to do that through other speakers who will be discussing with you how you go about attracting readers. And this is called building your email list. I know you don't want to be that guy. I know you don't want to be that girl. I know you don't want to be that non-binary kind of author, but I just want to let you know, if you don't have an email list, if you don't have it built up, you don't have a following, and you need a following to make money. So how do you keep contacts top of mind? This is where Jeff Borshawa and others will talk to you about how to use your book as a business card on steroids. This is what they will help you with. So today, let's talk about building your foundation. Now, always ask yourself this. I don't care who's speaking. Why should I listen to this guy or this girl? Why should I listen to this crazy woman who has the headphones on? I think she's a dinosaur. You're right, I am. But one of the things is I'm also very good at making money. So I was a financial first responder for over 30 years, as I shared with you. And then I also had this side hack going. I was this audio blogger. People didn't know what to do with us. We were on the internet in the year 2000, and Kellogg said, hey, we don't know what you do, but it's kind of cool. Do you want to have us sponsor you? And you do commercials for Fiber One bars. I'm like, sign on the dotted line. I'll take that $5,000. Thank you. So moving on, we are going to teach you how to make money. Now, your book solves a problem. Now, your book probably solves multiple problems if you wrote nonfiction. What I want to share with you is even if you're a nonfiction author, your book still solves a problem: boredom, escapism. People want to leave the life they have because sometimes it's just freaking unbearable. So to all of you fiction authors out there, thank you for the hours of entertainment you have given me when I was so done looking at a screen. You guys were there in book format and I could enjoy you. And I just want to say thank you for solving that problem. Realize whether you're nonfiction, fiction, or you're writing a screenwriter or whatever, songs, you have a problem that you're solving. Just pick one, clear, concise, and laser focused, and move forward. Okay. I've written a few books. I've had help from some of my friends. I think I'm on 15, 17, I forget. Anyway, Jeff can talk about it. The focus of the books that I want you to really focus on today is going to be Published Profitability, The Author's Guide, and Author Podcasting. Both of these books will be made available to the All Access Pass people for free. Also, while I was doing the audio blogging, I happened to do, I had a team, like I told you, I got 15 people behind me. We ran 4 podcasts a week, and those people cranked, and that's what became White Glove Broadcasting. Most of our stuff is up on YouTube. We are still converting stuff. We have over 600 episodes, and I think currently we only have about 200 that are on YouTube because guess what? We don't want to push Brian that hard, and they only can go so fast. So we got to take care of our people. So we take care of our people. If you're struggling with money, please go to the Janine Bolon Show on YouTube and go to the playlist Monday's Money Tip, or I think it's 3-minute money tips. Those are videos that are under 5 minutes that you can watch to help you with your financial situation. Thank you to Cheryl Garrison very much for the 99 Authors Best Advice. The problem is Janine got really busy. It's not Cheryl's problem. It was Janine. The reason it's been delayed is because it's Janine. It's the author. Again, oh my God, dealing with authors, right, Cheryl? Also, we have a book, Buddha Behind Bars, also are in press. So why should you listen to me? I give great advice, and occasionally I'll even take my own advice. And what I do is I like to give advice so that people can remind me of the advice I gave them so that you can help me. Back in 2005, I did Money It's Not Just for Rich People. That was back when we were doing self-publishing, and it was called vanity publishing. You were so vain. You were doing your own. Well, I got tired of the rejections. After 32 rejections, I had 4 small kids. I didn't have time to wait around. So I got this put out by Lulu Press. In 2015, remember I told you there was that thing called Zoom and they wanted me to be a beta tester for it. I started the course Mindful Money Program, 10 Steps to Abundance. It's free. It's available to you. So these were the books I wrote. And I decided that I was going to start teaching entrepreneurs how to go about doing this. The way you make money is in 90-minute workshops. This is where the money comes. This is where you can really crank information. If I'm short by about $1,500 to $2,000 by the end of the month, within a short period of time, I can put together a 90-minute workshop, and that will help me get over that hump. So let me share with you right now, this is how you do it. And I only have 20 minutes till our next speaker. So here we go. What is the difference between a webinar and a workshop? A webinar is where I sit and I talk to you for 90 minutes. You are not allowed to collaborate with me. You're not allowed to unmic yourself or unmute yourself. You don't talk to me in any way. Everything has to run through chat. That's a webinar. And my job in a webinar is to sell you a high ticket item of $5,000 or greater. It may be 3 months at $5,000. That's a webinar. Webinars are very successful and work very well if you have an incredibly specific problem and if you have already scaled up your business to that. Most of us are not at the level of a webinar. Most of us are handling workshops. Workshops is where you teach one thing for 90 minutes. And when people are done at the end of that 90 minutes, you have solved that problem. Okay. And so we have 5 workshops we're going to be presenting over the weekend, and we'll let you guys know about that after the summit. Planned profitability, that is where it's a 90-minute workshop on how to make 90-minute workshops. Don't you just love it when we do stuff like that? It's a win-win-win. You make money, I teach you how to make money, and guess what? Your readers, your community, they learn what is a problem for them, and you help them solve it in 90 minutes. It's fantastic. So here's a case study. Enough talk. So you may know, yeah, I'm a scientist, but I'm also a shaman, sacred clown. I write in the genre of woo-woo and metaphysical, okay, just to let you know. One of the things I like to do is give workshops on what I do as far as the woo-woo, and I partner with other shamans and other people who are doing good work in that arena. So what I did was I was like, I wonder what we can do. I want to make this a case study. I wanted to use this as a case study because my list is very small in my woo-woo space. So the Practical Mystic only has 91 subscribers. Anybody familiar with this? Here I'm an author. I have under 100 people on my subscriber list. What do? I can't make any money. Yes, you can. Let me show you how. Reno, she had it worse than I did. She only had 56 subscribers on her email list. So it's not like we were the epigon, the polygons of marketing here. So 147 subscribers. Let me talk to you about Facebook groups. Everybody's like, you got to have a big group. Yeah, well, I had 256 followers. She had 75. Yeah, it's laughable. 331 people there. Okay, we had the world's ugliest sales page. Let me show you. Ready? Ready? Hide your eyes. It's ugly. There you go. Sales page, baby. It's up. It's running. For $57, we'll give you a 90-minute workshop. Okay. So hang on, I get to laughing. So this is the actual data that came in. When I tell you that we did make money, I just wanted to show you we did have people sign up at different price points. I just wanted to prove to you, yes, this did work. And I do that because, yeah, I've had a lot of talks with people who talk about burn rates of $5 million. So I just wanted to show you the money. Here's the data. We had early birds. I always give an early bird. I love people who take action. They don't listen. They just take action. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing this workshop. Do you want to do this workshop? They're like, yes. They sign up immediately. Those are my early birds. Then the second wave, they're the ones, they have to think about it a minute. They want to make sure it's right for them. That's okay. We made $347 from them. What is a bump up offer? Now, Gary White's going to talk a lot about this. A bump up offer was actually created by somebody who said, hey, but I like your workshops and everything, but I want a one-to-one session with you in Reno. Okay, that's going to cost you. No problem. One-on-one session, we made $394 on that. We collected $1,217 with that work. Okay, here's my best part. We're still selling that baby. We still sell that sucker at $67 or $97, something like that, but we're still selling it. I just wanted to let you know. This was our live workshop on October 8th of 2022. Had people there. It was great. We decided, hey, this is so good. Let's build a book. Now we need $1,500 to do the audio portion of the book. Yes, thank you, Brian. Brian was our man. Thank you for helping us with that audio book. So we got 2 signups to prepaid before the audiobook was even a glimmer in anybody's eye. They prepaid to be beta testers on that. And I want to thank you because to the 2 people who were prepaid are both in this room right now. And I want to say thank you for supporting Janine here. So how long did it take us to do all this? 16 days. And in my talk later, I'm going to be discussing with you how we did it step by step, how it happened. So planned profitability was what I created after that. And that was how we came about doing now the book called Published Profitability. Now, Published Profitability, if you guys wanted to know, we finally got that up on, my thing is stuck here, hang on. Tasha, if you would be kind enough to go down to random links and pull up the ebook so everybody can get it for free for me. Yeah, I like to
chat for you.
Thank you very much. This is the free version, the ebook of it. If you want the published version, it's on Amazon. If you'll put the published version up too, Tasha. It's a mini book. Now, one of the complaints people have about my books, they're extremely short. They're 100 to 50 pages in length, 50 to 100 pages in length. And as people tell me, this is the highest compliment I feel an author can get. Janine, your book chapters for this book are suspiciously short. And they were right, because I have books that have chapters that say, this is what you need to do. Dun, 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 dun. Pause, go to the next chapter, because I presume you're an adult and you will make the choice as to whether or not you're going to move forward and do what I tell you or not. Do not read this book and think, oh, this is going to be a slam. I'll read it in an hour. You can. My goal is that if you're taking a flight from LA to New York, you can read my book in that period of time. And that means that you had to wait before you could reach into the bag to get it before they would let you touch anything in your undercarriage. Okay. So this is my goal with my books. So my chapters are very short because I make the assumption you're gonna go do what I tell you to do after you get ready for that. To publish profitability, we'll walk you through, and I have a list here, how to make an audience on your email list, your website, how to make money with it. This is the first question we like to ask. When I go to your website, how easy is it for me to pay you? Just question, how easy? All right. James Hipkin's going to talk to us about how easy is it for people to find the information they're looking for on your website. Okay. Marta Spurk, who is going to be speaking, will speak to you about how to get on a TEDx talk. But before you do, you better have your website ready and rocking and rolling. There are things that must be done before you move forward with that. Okay. Gary Barnes, also a TEDx speaker. We have many of our speakers who are TEDx speakers that will tell you that before you start promotion, like getting out there and really promoting yourself, make sure your website is ready to receive those people that are going to be hitting it. Okay, that is the number one thing. Is you can spend a lot of money and lose it because you didn't have an opportunity to build that back end for yourself. Okay, so that's published profitability. Your media kit. Many of you know I don't even allow people to come onto my show unless they have a media kit. This is different than a speaker one sheet. If you do not have a media kit, we're doing a workshop where in 90 minutes, you will have your media kit built out. And we have several people here who have told me, geez, Janine, I just had a speaker one sheet, but your media kit saves me so much time. That's the evilness of my plan. It's not necessarily for the media person that's on the other side that's going to get your media kit. It's actually to help you get systems and processes in place so that you have the pieces and parts to you. Now, I have to do a shout out here. Dr. Doreen, thank you so much for your patience. This woman had a page that we tried to fix multiple times. It is now fixed, Doreen. I wanted to say that live and on the recording. She waited for days and we kept trying to fix her page, and it was part of the technical difficulties. It is now fixed. So thank you for your patience. And Dr. Doreen will be talking to new authors about find your voice, change your life. And that is something that you learn to do with the written word. You learned how to find your voice writing. Now, when it comes to your speaking career, I'm sorry, as an author, you're going to have to talk. You want to have Dr. Doreen talking to you about how to go about finding your own voice. And she does a very good job with that. Okay, so that is also in the publishing profitability. We talk about systems and routines, your speaking schedule, your writing schedule, and then we talk about your pathway to profit. And then we're going to walk you through the book, your plan, your business, and your profit. Those are the things that happen in published profitability. So I recommend that you get the ebook, glance over it tonight, and come back with questions tomorrow. And I'll be glad to answer them during our breakout sessions. Okay. Now, do we have any questions over the stuff that I just rambled through real quick? Because we have 15 minutes before our next speaker. Dead silence. Good. To breakout rooms you go. I'm joking. As I watch Tasha's eyes, like, not yet. Sorry, Tasha. No. Does anyone have any questions, or are there any issues that popped up while you were trying to get on the summit? Things like that. You can leave them in the chat as well. Thank you, Sean. And Shiraz, thank you for being here. I wasn't able to welcome you officially. Shiraz is one of our speakers who will be talking, and you want to chat with him if you're really struggling, like we were talking about demons getting in your way when it comes to writing. He helps you deal with the dragons of reality. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say because I want Shiraz to do the rest. Good morning, Shiraz. Feel free to unmute yourself and say hello, please.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going very well. And you're bringing your A game today. Do you want to give us a little bit of a taste?
Taste in what way?
Just a tablespoon of what you're offering today.
So, yeah, well, when you're an author, there's a lot of unconscious stuff that comes up that keeps you from getting your book out there, from getting people to buy your book. And a lot of times you don't even realize it's there. Like I've seen 80% of authors never finish their book because they're afraid of it being judged once it's out there. And then they just think, well, I got busy and I got sick and stuff happened. But it's really, you're like, what are people going to say? And how do I deal with that? And so rather than go through that trauma that you're imagining in the future, you just don't finish your book.
And that is a problem.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Raz. And then we have Dr. Renee. Oh my gosh, hello. If you will unmute yourself. And then Gary, you're next. So Dr. Renee, talk to us a little bit about what you did regarding your book. And she holds masterminds on the mountain. Talk to us about that, my dear friend.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am an outdoor girl. So one of the ways that I feel like I bring value to other people is take them out on these hikes, on trails, 5-6 miles, and we unpack a topic that's related to their business or their personal life. And we do activities and discussions, and feel that nature really brings out the best in people and helps them to be authentic and real, and be able to share in safety and comfort, surrounded by trees. So, yeah.
And I've been on one of those hikes, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you very much, Dr. Doreen. We're going to get to Nikki, then Crystal, then Gary, then Nancy, and Doreen. And we have about 13 minutes to do that in. So first of all, Nikki, wonderful to have you with us. Nikki is the author of The Chameleon Mindset. Oh yeah, check out that tail. Woo! Nikki, talk to us a little bit about what you're going to describe.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we all struggle with is getting that consistent time to really dedicate and do the work. It's real easy to get that shiny object syndrome and just jump off to the next thing. So really talking about that structure and leveraging tools and automation as much as possible. I spent 20 years in Silicon Valley, so I'm not afraid of tools, but I know many other people are. And so just really kind of combining those two things of use your time wisely and leverage the tools to help you out.
Thank you for your commercial. And then moving on to Crystal, who's in Maui. When you see the rainbows on my social media, that's from Crystal. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about what you're chatting about.
Oh, Shiraz, you definitely hit home with me and talking about those things that stop us from publishing our book. And I found that they come back when we go to market our book. So as a mental health therapist, I've brought 3 things that I have learned and hopefully can help people also get through those humps, whether you're about to publish or you're stepping into marketing.
Thank you very much, Crystal. And we have Gary, Nancy, and Doreen. Gary, he comes to us. Good evening, Gary. You come to us from across the pond, mate. How are you?
Hello. I'm very well. I come from Scotland in the UK. So you'll probably recognize that from the accent. I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of fun. Gary is the author of the Book Funnel Formula. And if you've ever signed up to receive my author podcasting book, that is Gary and his team's work. So if you like what you saw there, you definitely want to chat. Even if you're like, Janine, I'm not at that stage yet. I'm not ready to invest in my business that way. Still listen to what Gary has to say, because there are ways you can bootstrap that system and then have Gary and his team do it for you when you're ready to move up to the next level. But definitely give him a look-see. Talk to us a little bit about what you want to share today.
So I think anyone who's here really understands that it's very difficult to become rich or make all your money from just selling the book itself. So what we help authors do is take back control of the sales process so that your book can just be the avenue into your real profit centers and the way that you can actually make your money on the back end of your book, and how to actually streamline that process with a book funnel. So that's essentially what we'll dive into and share today.
Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate having you here. And I know you had to stay up late, so thank you for that as well. I hope you're not missing dinner. Okay, Nancy Fields, and then Doreen, and then Michael.
Well, thank you. I've been designing websites for quite a while. And it's interesting what Shiraz said, because so many of my people as well, you're excited about getting a website, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my heavens, I'm going to expose myself. So yes.
Yeah.
Trying to get you out there in a great way and have everything that you need on an author website to promote yourself and get found online and sell more books.
Yeah, you also, though, I thought I remembered something about, there was something about magazines, or you were doing a glamour. Kind of tell us a
Yeah, I
little bit
was
about that.
after college, I followed my passion, my dream, and I worked at 3 different magazines in New York. I worked at Weight Watchers magazine and Glamour, and also Mademoiselle. So that was a really wonderful experience in terms of editing and seeing how magazines are put together. And I was always going into the art room thinking I should be in the art department. And then from there, so taking my editorial, and then because I was always an art major in school, so really coming at websites from a way that they have to sound great, look great, and be found, and knowing what words to use to be found online.
Yeah, one of the things that I was attracted to of having Nancy on was the graphic nature of what she was doing as far as magazines. So I highly recommend that you pick her brain when you're getting ready to do a book cover or something like that. Pick her brain, definitely pay her for her time, but let her look over those book covers and give her an opportunity to let you know if the color ratios are working in your favor or not. Okay. Oh, wonderful. So thank you, Nancy. And then Dr. Doreen.
Hi,
Talk to us
everyone.
about changing our lives.
Janine, you dance in the moment. It's so wonderful. I just want to show my cover because that's what you just talked about. It took a while to find it. It is something that I love dearly because it has a diamond, and that going inside of ourselves to find our voice is my process. I don't necessarily teach performance techniques. It's about how to find your voice. Take that inner journey. Already we have a thread today about unconscious and, the blocks that come up. And my work is about moving through that very gently, and then finding the brilliance that's within. I just want to say for everyone here, I have a podcast, Find Your Voice, Change Your Life, 125 episodes, open to host any of you and feature you as a guest.
And that is something that we as authors absolutely love. We love being able to have somebody who says, yes, you may come share my stage. So thank you very much, Dr. Doreen. And that's another thing the breakout rooms will offer you, is an opportunity to see who can help who. Also, later on, we'll be describing the Podcasters Playground, which is a place where authors who have podcasts will be able to work with Jeff Brashawa and myself. Now, not to be outdone, we need to talk about Michael and then James. So Michael Whitehouse, the guy who knows a guy, wonderful man. You guys know him from my Open Friday Coffee. I brag about the guy all the time because he gave me that idea and I ran with it. Go, Michael. Tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Well, hello. So I am Michael Whitehouse. You know how most people don't like networking because they think it's hard and stressful and not very productive. Well, what I do is I teach people to network in a way that is fun and easy and profitable. Starting with teaching people how to introduce themselves like I just did, which I call a Russo intro because I learned it from Mitch Russo. So I run events. I'm actually getting back into live events. I was recently hired to assist with a live Founder Funder event in Cincinnati in October. I have a podcast called The Guy Who Knows a Guy, which we're relaunching our 6th season, kicking it off with an interview I just did with Bob Berg, the author of The Go Giver, as well as other experts on networking, but Bob's kind of the flagship so far of the season.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna cut in. The reason why this is so funny, for those of you who want to know what the inside joke is, why some of us are laughing, is Michael has been trying to get Bob on his podcast for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
I've been trying to meet with Bob for 2 years.
Yeah. So like, hey, and of course he said the first time he sent his request to Bob, Bob gave him a very sweet email back of no, I don't have time. So now that Michael, after 2 years, was able to hook him, we got to celebrate these things, right? So thank you. Awesome. Well done.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, but no, so I'm passionate about teaching people to network because I've discovered that most people don't like networking because they don't know how to network, because they have been intentionally misled as what networking is for various reasons. So I'm trying to push back on that, because the more we can come together and collaborate and find ways to work together, the better off everyone is, and the more independent we become. Ironically, the more connected we become, the more independent we become, because we're not dependent on a job or a big corporation to give us a paycheck, because we can do our own thing.
That's right. And thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. And then we also need James Hipkin. Now, I've got to preface this a little bit because James is one of our speakers. Sorry, James. But James and his team have spent the last 6 months building out author templates for you guys. They have worked with me extensively, his entire team. And I think I'm up to 5 different people, 4 or 5 different people that have worked with me with Innately to help you with the 3-page author website. So if you don't have one, or if you have a new book you're getting ready to launch, or you're rebranding yourself or something like that, please listen to what James has to say. Go ahead, James.
Well, thanks, Janine. Yeah, I posted this in the chat a second ago. You only own 2 things in digital marketing, and that's your website and your list. Janine talked earlier about the importance of your list, and I'm here to just reinforce how vital the website is. It's the fulcrum that exists in digital marketing. People come to the website looking for solutions to their problems. And that's the key to it. When I audit websites, which I do all the time, the most common problem I see is an absence of strategy. The website is inside out. It spends all its time talking about itself. People aren't there to hear you talk about yourself. They're there looking for solutions to their problems. So and that simple insight is the absolute key. The rest of it is executional detail. If you can get that right, even the ugly landing pages work, right, Janine?
Yes, they do. Even though they're so ugly.
if you're hitting the problem that somebody wants to be solved, they'll see past all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. And thank you. So I think you can tell by the way these wonderful people are working with you today that Gary White is there to help you understand how to set things up. James is there to help you set up the website and to get it talking in a way that is conducive to your person. Nancy does websites, but the reason I picked her, and that's why I wanted to remind her, was I wanted to pick her because she does the covers of things. It was her magazine experience that I was like, oh my gosh, where were you when I was trying to learn on Canva how to make a freaking branding kit and stuff like that? And so Nancy and James kind of can work together, but also don't forget about yet another person who can help you. And Lisa, if you don't mind, we need to celebrate you. She had her book launch yesterday. So go, Lisa. Go, Lisa. Congratulations.
Thank you. And in my book are Janine and Crystal, and I think Robin was here too. So
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
So I'm a dedicated not-for-profit person. I may be the only person in this room that's raising money for others. So my first 2 books were not-for-profits for an organization that I'm deeply devoted to. And this book is not. So that's what I got.
That's what you got. How many people were there last night? You had 38,
there were
40?
34. There were
34 of us were there last night, and a lot of us were speaking about our stories and all that. It was a delightful time. And so if you want some advice on how to set up a book launch that is very giving and a book launch that really helps everyone walk away feeling like they were a part of something much bigger than themselves, please give Lisa a shout out on that. Okay. So you're welcome. I had to say, hey, we have to celebrate each other, man. We want everybody here in this room to be successful in their own way. So we'll make that happen.